Imagine that a business makes a mistake which really inconveniences you. Like, maybe you call in a takeout order at a restaurant for your work team because you're all staying late at the office. But when you go to the restaurant to pick up the order, you find out that it never got put into the system. Or maybe you've just arrived on a tropical island for a beach vacation you've been looking forward to, only to find that the airline has lost your luggage. The truth is, mistakes like these happen all the time. That's because organizations are made up of people, and people make mistakes because no one is perfect. Except me, of course. But by apologizing for their mistakes, organizations can recover from them and reconnect with the people who look to them for quality products and services. And just like a good apology can start repairing a relationship between two people, it can do the same for the relationship between an organization and the community around them. In fact, many of the underlying principles are the same. I'm Cassandra Ryder, and this is Study Hall Intro to Human Communication. Just like people, organizations do make mistakes. And those can sometimes be pretty costly. Like, say you bought a new mattress online and the company charged you twice, which overdrafted your bank account. And the stress of the whole situation makes it hard for you to get a good night's sleep, which was the whole reason you bought a new mattress in the first place. If the mattress company says they're sorry and offers to give you the mattress for free and cover your overdraft fees, you'll be able to get your 40 winks, no problem. In the last few episodes, we've been discussing organizational communication, which deals with the communication strategies companies and governments use to connect with people inside and outside of their organizations. And in organizational communication, an apology is an attempt to repair a relationship by accepting responsibility for causing harm. Apologies are made at every level of an organization, from formal press releases by CEOs to restaurant managers offering free desserts to angry customers. But even though apologies are really common, they can still be uncomfortable, because admitting fault when someone's hurt or upset can be daunting. But when any part of an organization apologizes for a mistake, it actually increases the likelihood that external stakeholders will stay connected with them in the future. So if a company wants to maintain the support of its stakeholders, it needs to apologize for its mistakes. When the mattress company apologizes by giving you a free bed and covering your bank charges, you may end up with a better impression of them than you had before the mattress charge mix-up. And that's good for the company, since you may be more likely to buy from them in the future, even though you didn't have the smoothest experience this time. So in organizations, apologies are a really important tool for maintaining relationships with external stakeholders. After all, external stakeholders also play a role in helping a business succeed beyond just one transaction. For instance, as a customer of the mattress company, if you have a good experience, you might even tell your friends to buy a mattress from the same company. But even though we might sleep on a mattress every night, the relationship between organizations and external stakeholders is less personal than our relationships with family members, friends, and coworkers. And that makes maintaining them much trickier. Like, if your sister spills paint all over your favorite shirt, you're probably going to accept her apology and move on. Eventually. But if a waiter spills a plate of spaghetti all over your shoes, you might rethink your relationship with that business. That other Italian restaurant around the corner might be more respectful of your new kicks. So since the relationship between organization and external stakeholders is more transactional than personal, it's important that organizations are very intentional about apologizing after making a mistake. And as both potential employees and consumers, we want to be on the lookout for what makes an apology effective. Not all apologies are created equal. To understand the parts of an effective apology, put yourself in the shoes of an organization that made a mistake. Say you're the proud manager of Chaotic Coffee, everyone's favorite local coffee shop. You're busy whipping up a latte when Carol, one of your regulars, storms up to the counter and slams down a stack of paper, which is covered in what appears to be your seasonal oat milk hazelnut cold brew. Before you can gasp in horror, Carol launches into a rant about how the barista delivering their drink spotted an adorable and contraband kitten peeking out of another customer's backpack. The barista tripped and dumped cold brew all over Carol's term paper. Carol's not only angry about being drenched in coffee, they're also upset because their term paper is due in 20 minutes and they don't have time to print off another copy. Before you say anything to Carol, you take a deep breath to collect your thoughts. It's much easier to make a sincere apology when you're level-headed. Then, you look Carol in the eye and start with step 1 of effective apologies, explaining your error. Carol, you say, I hear you, and I understand your term paper was ruined because our barista was distracted. Now, it might feel sort of weird to start with an explanation of what happened, but by repeating back what you heard Carol say in your own words, you create an opportunity to form a shared understanding of what went wrong. You also give Carol a chance to correct you if your understanding isn't quite accurate. And that's exactly what they do. Carol tells you that none of this would have happened if that cat hadn't been allowed into the coffee shop. This means Carol wants you to apologize for not enforcing the rules, not the fact that the barista was distracted by cuteness. Apologizing for the right error matters because it shows the person receiving the apology that you're paying attention, you hear them, and you care about their perspective. And if you disagree on what went wrong, your explanation starts a dialogue so you can come to an agreement about what went wrong. And taking responsibility for the correct problem allows you to be sincere when you finally say, "I'm sorry." In fact, saying you're sorry is the second step to an effective apology. And while it's a simple step, it's important to make sure you actually use the words, "I'm sorry," or "I apologize." People sometimes use words they think count as an apology, but don't sound sincere or specific enough to the person who was wronged. Like, if you explained the error to Carol and followed up with, "That's unfortunate," or "I'm sorry you feel that way," it could sound like you're trying to avoid taking responsibility for the error. It's also important to be aware of your nonverbal cues and to make sure you're not accidentally showing your apology isn't completely sincere. When giving an apology, thinking about eye contact or how you're holding your arms can make a difference. Saying you're sorry also helps with step 3 of apologizing, which is a promise of forbearance. Forbearance is when we show restraint and self-control. And in an apology, promising to show forbearance means that you'll do everything in your power to ensure you don't make this mistake again, which helps people trust us later on. For instance, to keep Carol as a customer, you make a promise of forbearance by telling them that you'll add a sign to the door reminding people that small pets are allowed on the patio, but not inside the shop. Being specific in our promises of forbearance also shows the other person that we're working to resolve the mistake and that we want them to have a better experience in the future. But to fully address our mistake in the moment that it occurred, we also need to move to step 4 of effective apologies, offering to restore. When we offer to restore during an apology, we're essentially suggesting ways that we can make it up to the person we wronged. And offering to make it up to someone is important because it shows that we're willing to take responsibility for our actions in a tangible way. In the situation at Chaotic Coffee, you might offer to print Carol's term paper on the office printer. And to cover all your bases, you might offer them a gift card or free coffee to replace the lost cold brew as well. Now, every organization has different abilities to offer restoration after making a mistake, because organizations come in many different sizes with a wide range of resources. For instance, Chaotic Coffee can give Carol a free drink, but they can't offer to proofread their next paper. But no matter how many resources an organization has, sometimes the restoration they offer can't totally make up for the mistake. And by using these steps to examine real business apologies, we can see where some companies are falling short, which might change what we consume or how we want to hold businesses accountable in the future. Like in 2015, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency found that the car manufacturer Volkswagen was lying about the amount of emissions released by its diesel vehicles. The EPA found that Volkswagen had added software to its cars that could detect when their emissions were being tested and improve the engine performance to make it look like their cars were less polluting. Basically, VW was fudging emissions numbers. Lying is, generally bad practice. But what made this particular scandal even worse was that VW had been marketing its cars by touting their low emission rates. Whoops. To try and make things right, their CEO resigned, and VW said it was sorry, agreed to pay billions of dollars in government fines, and recalled hundreds and thousands of vehicles. As part of the apology process, VW also committed to developing zero-emission electric vehicles to prove that it really was sorry for pumping emissions into the atmosphere. So VW followed the apology process by saying sorry, acknowledging its error, offering restoration by paying fines, and promising forbearance by doubling down on electric vehicles. And the apology worked for many stakeholders. VW has been able to increase its car sales in the US since 2016, and it tripled its electric vehicle sales between 2020 and 2021. But even the best apology in the world couldn't totally undo the damage VW's cars did to the environment. And even though some consumers have forgiven VW for cheating on emissions tests, others aren't convinced that VW has really changed its polluting ways. At the end of the day, the 4-step apology can be used in just about any situation. even if you can't control whether someone will accept your apology or not. Whether you've made a mistake with a family member, friend, romantic partner, or coworker, putting time and effort into apologizing shows that you care about the relationship and that they can count on you to make things right. And when external stakeholders forgive an organization, it's a big deal because it can be tough to trust someone you don't know personally after they've bungled a situation, like overcharging you for a mattress or dousing you in artisanal coffee. That's why it's important to think about our apologies as more than just solving a problem in the moment. They're also a promise to be better in the future, which can make our relationships even stronger. Thanks for watching Study Hall Intro to Human Communication, which is part of the Study Hall Project, a partnership between ASU and Crash Course. If you liked this video and want to keep learning with us, be sure to subscribe. You can learn more about Study Hall and the videos produced by Crash Course and ASU in the links in the description. See you next time!